friends, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome if you're new here. So you're thinking about making the move to Utah. Maybe you've already made the decision, or maybe you're still weighing your options. Either way, this video is for you. We're going to break down everything you absolutely need to know before you pack up and head for the Beehive State. Trust me, moving to a new state is a big deal, and having the right info can make all the difference.
If you're serious about moving here, then you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe because we drop videos all the time to help people just like you looking to navigate this process. And if you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. We read and respond to every single one of them. And let's go ahead and get started.
This is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about living, eating, sleeping, working, and playing in northern Utah, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in northern Utah.
We are Sloane and Kim Petersen here with the Petersen Group, and we've been in the real estate business for over 10 years, and every day we have people just like you looking to buy, sell, relocate, and invest here in northern Utah. And we absolutely do love doing it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, we would love for you to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All that information can be found in that description box below, so we can help you make that smooth transition here to northern Utah.
So Utah has a pretty unique reputation, and depending on where you're coming from, some of what you've heard might be spot on, and some might be way off. Let's start with the obvious. Utah is absolutely stunning. It's got some of the most diverse landscapes in the country, from snow-capped mountains to red rock deserts. Plus, we get all 4 seasons. Yes, even winter. So if you're coming from a warm climate, be prepared for snow. And we don't mean winter like it gets a little bit cold or like it's just 50 degrees. We mean like winter, like multiple feet of snow, crazy snow, blizzards.
Yeah, it's not like Minnesota cold, but if you're coming from somewhere other than like the crazinesses of like Minnesota or something, like
it's gonna be cold.
It's pretty cold.
It's gonna be cold.
And it's like a dry cold too, which is kind of different. Like obviously I'd rather have dry cold than like the cutting cold of like being wet or something like that. But like the dry cold's a little different. It like feels like bone cutting, right? It's like your neck just feels like it's gonna snap because it's just so stiff or whatever. So it's just different, but you'll get used to it. Maybe. I mean, if you don't like the cold, you're probably not gonna get used to it. But it's not that bad personally. But yeah, it's just you have to decide whether you like the coldness or the heat. So Utah is more than just scenery though. It's known for its strong family values, a booming job market, and low crime rates. And to be real, it's not exactly the wildest nightlife scene, right? Which could be a good thing. Maybe you don't even want that around you. If you're moving here expecting a Vegas style party, then you might just be a little bit disappointed when they're not having those nightly, club parties. But if you're looking for a place to raise a family, to enjoy the outdoors, and to build a career, this state delivers in a huge way.
And just to be clear, it's not that like you can't still go to a bar on a Tuesday afternoon. They're still open, but places don't get really crowded, or there isn't like a fun party scene unless it's like the weekends, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I have heard, obviously we're getting older, so we're not really, we look a lot younger than we are, so we're not like in that club scene necessarily, but I've had some of my younger friends say that it's getting better in the Salt Lake area, but overall, yeah, it's just not going to be like a huge metropolitan nightlife scene.
So I had a friend actually visit me from France last year, and every time we went somewhere, because I had taken off of work, so we were going places like during the week, even for like lunch, every time we went somewhere, she'd be like, it's dead here. There's no, but like it's not crowded. For us, we might be like, oh, it's busy all the time. But like if you live in a super big city, like she's from close to Paris, if you live in New York or things like that, it's probably gonna feel a lot less busy here. So saying that though, Utah is growing fast. People are moving here from all over the country, California, Texas, New York, Florida, Arizona. Those have been some of our biggest, crowds that have been moving here. And the big draw is the quality of life here. The job market here is one of the best in the entire country. Our economy is so stable, especially for entrepreneurs and tech professionals. Utah consistently ranks as one of the best states for business and employment. Our employment rate is so low here, like our unemployment rate. The cost of living obviously is reasonable compared to those other states like California and New York. And though real estate prices have jumped in recent years, it's still affordable in comparison.
Yeah, I just got gas. Like, we were coming back from Reno, or like through Reno, and I had to get gas there, which was really frustrating. I'm like a penny pincher if you know me. And I get the gas. He's a
cranky old man, you guys.
Basically, I'm wanting to get off my lawn kind of guy, and that's the stage I'm at in my life now. And gas was like $5.35 a gallon in Reno, and I remember filling up, and we just have like a mid-size, SUV.
It's a hybrid too. So.
Yeah, it was like $85, $90, and if you drive a truck, you're probably like, that's normal. But I filled for $40, right? So this was over double what I'm used to, and I just went to Costco yesterday, and I was happy. I left as a happy guy. The gas for premium was $2.95
in Utah. I don't know where other,
yeah, it was in the Ogden area, in the Riverdale area, and I filled my whole car up for like $41. So just saying, some things are more expensive here, other things are not, and our gas prices and really our overall cost of living, I want to say, for what we make is not bad. If you're a Utah local, you're probably going to be in the comments saying, it's not true. But if you're coming from any sort of bigger metropolitan area that's similar to Salt Lake City, the cost of living is relatively affordable.
But beyond jobs and affordability, people move here for the outdoor lifestyle. We've got the Mighty 5 National Parks, which we've talked about multiple times over multiple videos, over 40 state parks, and some of the best skiing and hiking in the world. If you love being outside, Utah is a paradise. And Utah is the state, I really do have to say, has really catered to the outdoor lifestyle. We talk all the time about the national parks, but like Sloane mentioned earlier in another video, we have a ton of state parks here too, and our state parks are just as gorgeous. Like sometimes I'm like, this should be a national park. It's that
like
gorgeous.
The Antelope State Park, that's a state park, and Antelope Island is amazing. I mean, you almost feel like you're in a small piece of Yellowstone because you have like buffalo bison running through there. And then we went to Goblin Valley, which was an amazing, state park. So there's lots of cool parks out there that you can go to that are just, like Kim said, are just as good as the national ones.
But just the lifestyle in and of itself, our friends, and I'm going to shout them out, Alex and Carrie, because I know Alex watches. Hi, Alex.
He's my fanboy.
They moved from Kansas City, and they talk about all this time, just even the lifestyle change, being able to go on walks after work because you're on a hiking trail, not in the same neighborhood walk all the time. You're seeing something different. So,
and wasn't he saying he lost like 15 pounds since he moved here, just because he's basically
the
walking,
lifestyle is
like hiking
different.
like 3 to 4 miles a day, and he doesn't feel like he's even working out. He's just enjoying the scenery. So
yeah, so definitely such a different lifestyle here that is geared more towards that outdoor activity lifestyle.
So what's it actually like to live here day to day? Well, first off, Utah is one of the safest states in the entire country. So crime rates are low, and most neighborhoods feel welcoming and tight-knit. I know we live in North Ogden. We probably mentioned that before, and we've left our garage open all day. And
not on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking in the Ring camera going, oh no. Left the garage open. And I was like, and the garage door to our house is also not locked, right? So I'm like, we're screwed. I mean, people are going to steal all of our stuff. We're going to come home, it's going to be ransacked. Not one thing, not one person even.
Blinks an eye. Nope. They just go about their business.
And I'm not saying that every neighborhood in Utah is like that, but majority of them are. And I think you'd be relatively surprised with how that goes. I mean, I know that in other videos, property crime is the highest in Utah over than we don't have violent crime, a lot of that. But so property crime is the highest, but even that being our highest, I think it's very rare that people are going to be stealing your stuff and all that kind of stuff, which, shows the values that Utah has here. So whether you're living in the heart of Salt Lake City or in a quiet suburban town like Bountiful or Sandy, there's a strong sense of community in almost every, Utah city in town. Neighbors actually know each other out here, and there's a real emphasis on looking out for one another. We've had neighbors ask us just to dog sit or bring their trash cans, and that's very much a normal part of our community out here. And, you think about that being like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and we kind of lost touch to that, but we see that a lot out here in most of our communities, which is really cool. So many towns also host community events. They have the farmers markets and city celebrations that help build real connections amongst, the residents of the cities.
Yeah, and like Sloane was saying earlier, like even if you're not an extrovert, you're not really into talking to your neighbors, hanging out with your neighbors, they will still do. So like, for example, when we first moved into where we live now, we didn't know any of our neighbors. We didn't really have an opportunity to meet them and talk with them. But I noticed that they would always bring in our trash can if we were not able to. If it's snowing outside, they will help to, you know, shovel your snow off your sidewalks, particularly if they know that you're elderly or need some help, like just had surgery. And you don't even have to ask them, and you don't even particularly have to be friends with them. That is just the way the communities are here in Utah. Everybody is just really helpful and does look out for each other. So the state also ranks highly for education, with strong public schools and top universities like the University of Utah, BYU, and Utah State. Parents moving to Utah will find that the state takes education seriously. Schools here tend to be well funded, and there are plenty of extracurricular activities, from sports to arts programs. Utah has a higher than average high school graduation rate, and many students go on to pursue higher education within the state. The University of Utah is known for its medical research and engineering programs. BYU is famous for business and law, and Utah State has an excellent reputation in agriculture, sciences, and aviation. And on top of that, we have some of the most Montessori and private schools that are out there in the country.
Beyond the school system, Utah also offers a great environment for families. We have parks, hiking trails, and outdoor recreation are woven into our daily lives. Whether it's taking the kids to nearby splash pads in the summer or hitting the ski slopes in the wintertime, there's always something to do out here. The work-life balance here tends to be better than in many major cities, and the overall pace of life is just a little bit more relaxed here.
The economy is thriving, and employment opportunities are strong, particularly in tech, healthcare, and finance. But here's the flip side. Wages haven't necessarily kept up with the rising cost of housing. So while Utah is more affordable than some major metro areas, home prices have climbed, and finding a good deal can take some work. And that's where we would come in as your experts to really help you in that area.
So let's talk about money. Utah's overall cost of living is slightly below the national average, but real estate, like Kim was saying, is a little more on the expensive side right now. We have property taxes, though, however, are relatively low, which helps us balance some of those things out. Here's a quick breakdown on how some of our taxes go. So we have income tax, which is coming in at about 4.85%. Sales tax is coming in around 6.1%, which varies by county, and property taxes are only 0.52%, which is actually the lowest in the entire country. And then we have our gas tax that's coming in at more closer to 30 cents a gallon, which I also think is relatively low compared to a lot of our surrounding states as well.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that live in a lot of other states, and whenever anything major spikes, like a few years back, I remember when gas prices kind of spiked and we were talking about it, and my friends in California were paying like double to triple per gallon, and I was like, okay, like I really have nothing to complain about because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, like that $5 a gallon in Reno.
Like the Reno.
I can't even do it. I wouldn't drive. I would just walk everywhere. Like, that's how cheap I am. I'm like, I guess I'm taking the bus. I cannot pay $5.
Hopefully Reno has a great transportation system.
I hope so, because it's hot, so I guess I'd be burning up out there.
So speaking about cost of living, utilities here are also among the lowest in the country, and grocery prices are fairly reasonable. But if you're moving from somewhere like Texas, where there's no state income tax, just be aware that Utah does have one. Where we see kind of the balance is that our property taxes, again, are some of the lowest, if not the lowest in the country, comparatively speaking.
So I think one of the things that surprises a lot of newcomers in Utah is our climate. We're a very dry, high elevation, high desert state, meaning it can take some time to adjust, especially if you're coming from somewhere that's more humid. Winters can be cold and snowy, especially if you're higher up near the mountains. But on the flip side, we do have the greatest snow on earth, and I'm serious, it is even on our license plates. And our ski resorts are world class. Summers are warm here. We reach up to 100 degrees, sometimes over 100 degrees sometimes. And so like we have extremes, I think, on both sides of it, right? We get really cold in the winter, and then we get really hot in the summer. I think a lot of these states around us that kind of get a lot colder in the winter like we do, their summers don't reach as hot as we do. And that kind of just shows that we are, actually in a desert. Even though we might not look like a desert climate up north, we actually are in a desert.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you touched on that, because I grew up in Denver, which is everybody always jokes it's just on the other side of the mountain, and it is, which is why people think that they're so similar, but they could not be more different. Colorado is not considered a desert state, and so like Sloane said, in the summers, our highs would be like in the low 90s, and that was like on a hot day, right? You're usually talking like mid to high 80s, but here in Utah, I mean, like Sloane said, we have quite a few over 100-degree days. We are extreme on either end, for
and
sure.
if you go to St. George, it's more like Vegas temperatures, like they'll be in the 115s, 118s, like quite often in July and August. So.
Yeah, we have friends that live down in St. George, and it's so funny because it'll be like 50, like high 50s out there, and they're like freezing, and we're like, this is like warm for us northerners.
It's a spring day.
Yeah.
So the fall out here is absolutely gorgeous. If you've never seen the leaf change here in the Wasatch Mountains, then you're definitely going to be in for a treat.
Yeah, I feel like if you do come to visit Utah and you just want to visit, come in the fall. Like
September, October is perfect.
It's the perfect weather. It's the perfect season, and the colors here are unreal. Okay, so now considering all of that, where should you live? Well, that really depends on your lifestyle. So Salt Lake City is going to be an urban center. It is great for young professionals. It's close to everything. It's more of a walkable city that's got the university. Park City is if you love to ski, you don't mind high real estate prices, this is the place to be. We're talking more luxury, like in the millions of dollars. Lehi and Silicon Slopes is the tech hub of Utah, so there's tons of job opportunities. Daybreak, which has become really popular, is a master plan community with amazing amenities and a very family-friendly vibe. St. George, like we kind of talked about, is if you want that warm weather year-round and a more relaxed desert vibe. In fact, it used to be just a retirement hub for people that wanted to get away from the snow, but now it's grown into quite a big mecca. Logan and Ogden will give you more affordable options with a strong sense of community and access to the outdoors. Each area will really have its own personality, so if you're unsure, reach out. We can kind of help you figure out what spot best fits your needs based on your lifestyle, your job, all of those things. We can kind of help you navigate that process.
So is Utah the right place for you? Well, if you're looking for that high quality of life, a lot of job opportunity, outdoor adventures, and safe family-friendly communities, it just might be. If you're ready to make the move, we are definitely here to help.
We hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Picking where you'll call home is an important decision, and we would love to help you make that smooth transition to the northern Utah area. If you're looking to purchase in the northern Utah area, we would love to help you out. Give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and as always, we are keeping it real estate.